Hi everybody and welcome back. This is tip number 9 on my 10 tip series on social media networking and marketing in the entertainment industry. Please feel free to map this on to whatever industry you're in or whatever facet and level of whatever industry you're in. I think we all need to jump in with both feet into this world, whether we like it or not, kicking and screaming, whatever, of social media. Yay, how fun! Being a producer, I thought I would address the importance of social media from a producer's perspective as well. I know we've touched on all kinds of different parts of the entertainment industry, and I just think that it's important being a producer, that I want to just emphasize that a wee bit. My book, Indie Film Producing, you all know about that by now. I had the privilege of interviewing a ton of people for Chapter 13, actually. God, it's worth this book just for Chapter 13 alone. And they talked about alternative forms of distribution and fundraising and all kinds of stuff. But what I want to address today is how they used social media marketing to either entice and excite and bring in investors into their project, or how they used it to help create enough of a fan base to entice big distributors, or better yet, do their own self-distribution. So I'm actually going to read from the book. Two of them in particular, just a couple of paragraphs, just bear with me. I just chose two for this particular reason, to keep it short today. Mark Rosenbusch, he is a film producer, and what I like about these aren't just teachers. In fact, one of them is not even a teacher. Mark is a teacher. His company is called Internet Marketing for Filmmakers, but he's also a filmmaker. He's produces and directs and everything himself. So I thought his advice would be very well received by all of you who are interested in making your own films, because he was brilliant in terms of how he used social media to help him. Let me just read this. He said, "Let me ask you a question. You're a producer, but let's say you're a studio, and let's say you're an investor. If somebody comes to you with this little film and says, okay, I want to make this movie for $800,000, they're going to look at you and say, well, what have you done before, and why should I listen to you? But if you go to them and then you can say, oh, and by the way, I have 70,000 people who are already interested because of the work that I've done through social media. You've done their work for them. Then they're more apt to be excited and interested in you, okay?" He goes on to say, "The internet is a numbers game. You need volume. For example, I am interested in creating an audience on YouTube that has the potential to grow to 40 to 50,000 a year and beyond. Now, he said, you can go to investors, and even if you're past the investor stage in production, and at the end of the day, you can go to distributors and say, oh, look, I've got 40 to 50,000 people. You just did their job for them. If you've got 40 to 50,000 people," he says, you can even bypass the distributor. In his case, he was even looking at doing the self distribution on his own. So he was a big, avid fan of that, and he did that for his vampire movie. I mean, I could go on and read you the whole thing about his vampire movie. It's fascinating. He literally did that. He built that kind of a database, so he had that in play, that he could now have the choice to do both. Go to the bigger distributors or self-distribute, because either way, he's got a huge, huge, huge fan base. He says, okay, here's my final words of wisdom. If there's a single value to the internet for marketing, you can get to more people more quickly for less money than any other form of marketing in human history. I just thought that was kind of cool. Puts things very clearly in perspective. The other person I interviewed that I want to read a wee bit about as well is J.C. Calciano, and I know I shared about him in my last series on film funding. I definitely shared about him because I was intrigued about some of the work that he had done, but I want to read a couple of paragraphs from his, and here's what he says. "The internet is the best value for the independent filmmaker looking to build an audience for cheap, so I concentrate my efforts there. One thing that I've done, which has been extremely successful for me, is to create a webisode. I figured I'd make something simple and sexy that would draw in my target audience weekly. I've built a fan base on the internet to market my movies through my webisodes. I started the webisodes a year before my first movie. And within 2 years, each of my webisodes averaged between 20 and 50,000 views per day. On every one of the webisodes, get this here, I have the name of my company at the beginning of them. So I'm branding my company. And at the end of the webisodes, I show 2 of my movie posters and where they can find them. That means at least 20,000 times a day minimum, people are seeing my branding, seeing my product, and seeing my movie posters. On top of that, I run a revenue share on each episode, advertising banners served by Google. Awesome. So each month I get a check for hundreds of dollars for showing my webisodes and advertising my movies and company. Yes, he says the viral component of the internet is amazing. Once it's out there, if it's clever and or funny, people will pick it up and promote it for you. It's a remarkable tool for promotion and for marketing. By just using Facebook, Twitter, blogs, and my webisodes, I have built a huge fan base for both myself, my brand, and my products. My YouTube channel now has thousands and thousands of people who know me and my movies. Okay, and it goes on, his interview is pages. It was phenomenal. So I just wanted to highlight for all of you out there who are looking to make a movie the importance and value of going on and getting set up, getting educated on the social media marketing and networking importance a year or two even before you make your movie. Start, generating those fans now in whatever way, shape, and form you need to on the internet. That's it, guys, for this time. I think that was actually brilliant, if I do say so myself, reading from my book on those wonderful people that I interviewed. I will see you then. My gosh, we're coming into our last one. Oh my gosh. Next Friday. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. And I will look forward to seeing you all again for tip number 10. Once again, Suzanne Lyons signing off. Thanks for joining me.